Hello everybody and welcome back for your weekly news breakdown. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Like always, we'll recap everything amazing that transpired last week, prepare you for this week's new releases and updates, and finally round out the video with the most pressing or interesting VR topic to date. Today, we have 5 new game releases, a huge update to Blade and Sorcery, some VR tech that looks like it's straight out of an episode of Black Mirror, and some not so great news on the overall state of VR gaming. It's not all bad, but we definitely need to talk. Before we get into it, I am curious as to what you think VR's biggest issue currently is, so go ahead and drop that in the comments right now. Now, there are of course links and timestamps in the description if you want to jump around, but let's get the party started with this week's release lineup, and first up is Musical Range. Musical Range is a unique rhythm shooter that just hit early access today, and not only will it have you shooting notes, but you also have the ability to bend and distort them, adding some creative freedom we don't traditionally get in a rhythm title. You can also drag and drop your own music into this title on top of their existing catalog of songs. And of course, there's an online leaderboard for the competitive Among Us. Sticking with the music theme, how would you like to be a radio DJ? In Area Man Lives, you'll get that opportunity, but instead of just playing records, you'll be solving puzzles. This quirky radio-themed drama will have you taking calls and unraveling some grand mystery. Area Man Lives was actually in development for years, announced all the way back in 2020, and I honestly have no idea what to expect from this title, but it did give me some mild Firewatch vibes. Next up is the title that I plan to review this week in the form of Little Cities vs. Cities VR, The Battle of the Sim Builders. This aptly named title will have you building little cities. It's just that simple. None of the overly complex financial planning, sewer systems or traffic to manage, and just some laid-back light city planning across a series of small islands. To some, that might sound like a complete letdown compared to Cities VR, while to others, it's a breath of fresh air. So if you are looking forward to that full comparison, make sure to subscribe and come back this Wednesday. Now, another title I plan to give you my opinion on is Omega Pilot. This futuristic Wipeout-style racing game comes from the same studio that brought us Z-Race. The most requested feature from that title was a first-person view, but the developers needed to create a whole new title to make that happen. Omega Pilot features single-player and asynchronous multiplayer modes, so rather than actively racing against people online, you'll be battling against a ghost of their previous run. It's a cool feature that leaves you excited, especially when you see a familiar name in the competition. Now they just better make sure to include the custom Mateo311 car from Z-Race and my voice tracks in this new title. And finally, also releasing this week in early access is the story-driven horror title Afterlife VR. As a rookie police officer who's called in to investigate a disturbance at a local mental hospital, we know things will go downhill extremely fast. Promising to deliver the true meaning of terror, it looks like you'll need a diaper for this one, but luckily though, you will be armed with both a pistol and some supernatural powers. The coward in me wants to skip this title, but if you are interested in seeing me play, let me know in the comments and maybe we'll go ahead and live stream it one day. Okay, so let's move into a huge new beta update for everyone's favorite arena fighting title, Blade and Sorcery. Update 11 is including so many new features that the Baron himself put together a 24-minute video just on this update alone. I'll link it in the description if you're looking for more information, but let's quickly break it down right here. Quick reminder, this is a beta update, so expect rough edges, broken mods, and plenty of new issues. That being said though, what they're introducing looks absolutely amazing and truly unique. You'll have the ability to swap clothing and armor from a new mirror system. There's a new inventory system that's not exactly the same as anything else in VR right now. We have a beautifully crafted outside home environment, but even more impressive is the graphical, audio, and functionality changes for the spell system. Fireballs are intended for direct damage, lightning for crowd control, and gravity is all about versatility. So now we have giant fireball explosions, beams of lightning, and we could basically fly like the Scarlet Witch. And finally, there's some overall updates going on for enemy AI, including their range finding, the ability to defend themselves, and chain attacks together. Overall, Blade and Sorcery just keeps getting more and more impressive, but I'm gonna wait a little bit until the beta becomes official, so I get the best overall experience. Speaking of the best overall experience, that is perfect one-to-one hand tracking sound with nothing more than a small wrist one device. Well, Mark Zuckerberg recently showed off a prototype of this technology to Ray-Ban's parent company. This would be an ideal interface for many XR devices, including everything from controlling AR glasses to perfect one-to-one hand tracking, unsusceptible to occlusion in any VR application. So in other terms, it's basically game-changing tech. Now, it functions by reading the electrical signals in your arm, and the only major hurdle for this technology is making it comfortable enough for long-term use. but it's very likely this is the future of hand tracking for many XR devices. And on the topic of the future, it looks like virtual avatars may have gone too far, and this technology looks like it's straight out of an episode of Black Mirror. Meta's prototype, Codec Avatars 2.0, is approaching complete realism, and it's equally amazing and terrifying. This is akin to what you normally see with behind-the-scenes footage from blockbuster movies like Lord of the Rings, where you watch the motion caption of Gollum in action. Instead, we just have a dude with a headset on that has a few extra cameras. This makes me feel like the future will be honeypot central, and every online encounter is a deepfake. Now we're years away from this becoming the norm, and it actually requires some truly advanced deep learning style software and custom built hardware. Originally, Meta was relying on the processing power of an NVIDIA Titan X, which is just not practical at all for anything mobile. Now a new custom chip has been designed, which does make this possible on a mobile device. It's already been utilized in some prototype headsets, and it looks like we're only a few generations away from dealing with ridiculously cartoony avatars and moving into near photorealism. I was so interested in this topic, I considered it for a full deep dive. The technology driving this and the future implications are just wild. But for now, let's just stay at the surface level and see what we get in the next few years. And limiting our scope even more, we're going to discuss the not so amazing future of VR gaming for the remainder of 2022. But before that, this video is brought to you by Kiwi Design, one of my favorite sites for VR accessories. They just released some brand new Quest 2 hand straps that'll give you that Valve Index feel and allow you to completely let go of the controllers. They also have plenty of other accessories like controller weights for those of you who work out in VR, cable management systems, and my favorite accessory, their super durable and extra comfy Quest 2 Elite strap. There are links down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support this channel. Okay, so I started this video saying we needed to talk, and I'm gonna be real with you guys. I came into 2022 expecting straight up fire from VR, but we are yet again in another lull period. Don't get me wrong, I love VR. I still VR game every single day. I'm extremely happy with what we already have and for the titles releasing by the end of the year. But at the same time, you and I are quite possibly living in our own bubble. To the remaining outside world, the Meta Gaming Showcase was just a B lineup of games. No true system sellers, and not much appeal from people outside the VR community. The AAA style VR games like Grand Theft Auto, Assassin's Creed, and Splinter Cell are nowhere to be found. In fact, Ubisoft might even be in financial trouble, making the completion of these titles a huge question mark. The remainder of the year is sequel heavy, which is great for developers, meaning we have a viable platform, but again doesn't garner much outside appeal. Daily VR usage still remains extremely low, especially compared to traditional gaming, and chip shortages are still plaguing the industry, making startups impossible, and most likely delaying headsets like the PlayStation VR 2 and the Pimax 12K into 2023. And Meta's next upcoming headset isn't for you, nor is it for gaming. So when we put this all together, the remaining 7 months in 2022 don't look that fantastic for gaming, but there is one shining beacon of hope. Unfortunately though, it's most likely going to be a double-edged sword. I am of course talking about Bonelab. Now my expectation is Stress Level 0 will deliver. It will be an amazing title, elevating mobile VR games to the next level. But just like Half-Life Alyx, it will become the new measuring stick that every title gets compared to and ultimately falls short of. Subjectively, the best title on the Quest platform is Resident Evil 4. But that was an already great game that they just made work in VR. It doesn't score the same type of VR points that Boneworks or Half-Life Alyx did, and it was successful long before VR. Bonelab, if it's as successful as I'm expecting, will truly push the Quest 2 to maximum capacity. This is a topic I'm hearing quite often from developers, that the Quest 2 hardware is already stretched to its limits, and after the release of Bonelab, we're simply going to be left waiting for new hardware. It's like reaching max level in your favorite video game, and there's no new content left to play. It's a sad prospect, but ultimately it's what we're facing as VR gamers. Now this is nothing new. We've been here before. Half-Life Alyx left us feeling the same way, and VR has consistently gone through these ups and downs. So the overall moral of this story, aside from Bonelab, don't expect to see anything overly impressive for the remainder of 2022. Yes, there may be some surprise hit PCVR titles or flat to VR mods, but that's for a niche group in an already niche community. Regardless, I am here for the long run, and I'll make sure to let you guys know how to squeeze out the absolute most amount of entertainment from your VR hardware between now and the end of the year. This will of course include new reviews, lists of hidden gem titles, the best flat screen mods, free side quest games, virtual experiences, you name it. So if there's anything specific you guys want to see me cover in the future, please let me know down in the comments. But for now, that was the new VR news. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, consider subscribing. And as always, I will see you guys on next time.